Is this? Oh, are we? We're live.
Mr. War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too all who NXT, handing out SmackDowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space. Now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Welcome to the War Report, everybody.
Oh my God, that was freaking fantastic.
We talked about it in the chat. Steve, our captain of the ship, had to work tonight, so I am steering the boat, and we talk about it every time he's gone. It's like it's the B team takes over. So
Edmund Fitzgerald.
indeed. I hope not. Yeah, I hope you have a better fate than that, or the Lusitania, or any of those other ones. But we are indeed here for another edition of the War Report.
It is very possible we're going to be wished well in our future endeavors.
Yeah, this might be all of our last shows because Steve isn't here to rein us in. Although I think he would have approved of my choice of music.
That was good.
I don't know what else we would have done. I don't know who else would have been the highlight for the week.
The only other thing we could have done was just done Chad Gable just going shoosh.
Yeah, Chad Gable is definitely the story, or one of them, coming out this whole thing. I mean, just a complete 180. Seems to be going towards this idea of the Alpha Academy, Gable being the head of a thing, with more serious wrestlers now as he's a heel. So we'll see where that goes.
Can't really picture it serious when you got Akira Tozawa.
Well, no, he's going to get rid of those guys, and the Creed brothers are going to come in.
Okay.
Those guys are going to all get suplexed out of their boots in a couple weeks. I have a feeling.
You know, I like those guys and they're talented, but the shorter one, he's got this goofy face though. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
Wait, which one? And there's one of them. Both of them are good, but one of them's like really good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot.
I just felt like I'm in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'll take the ugly one. Which one's the ugly one? That's what that just sounded like going up against Taka and Razor.
Our first comment
on your pizza.
Our first comment of the night coming in from Ryan.
No, that was because Alex was eating during the War.
Yeah, Alex was eating. I almost had I had a minor disaster, not disaster, but I was trying to use my computer. I have a trackpad here for the iMac, and it wasn't clicking. So long story short, it was the cable that I used to charge it. But I was like trying to start the show with a dead mouse, basically, and I couldn't do. I was like tapping it. I was like, "No, we need to start the show." But we made it. We made it on time.
Looks like we made it.
What shall we start with? Do we go back to SmackDown? Talk about the draft? What should we talk about?
Do we have to talk about the draft?
Well, I think we should, because here's the thing. We do this. You guys can go back. We do this every single year. We talk about the draft with high hopes about, oh man, this year's going to be different. It's going to be different. We swear. And you know what? This year was indeed different, but in not a good way. So we wanted it to be different in that we want the draft to kind of mean something. And this year, the draft was basically, half the people were drafted to the show they were already on. There was really
Right.
not a lot
Yeah,
of
how is that a draft?
That's not a draft.
Yeah, it was not really a draft. The only like Dragunov got called up. Our boy Dijak got called up, without the
That's
T-bar gimmick. Thank God it's actually him.
Shinsuke got traded to SmackDown. The Final Testament got traded to Raw.
Shinsuke had to get traded to SmackDown because Cody needs somebody else to beat on that show.
Either that or Pat McAfee's just having too hard of a time not dancing.
Right. Yeah, so there were a couple trades, but it wasn't like nothing earth-shattering, like when they split up the Dudley Boys or whatever else. They're
Right.
in the beginning of the trade, like the draft era, that first draft, and even the first few drafts were
Like when The Undertaker
Big
got
deal.
drafted. Yeah.
right. He was like, what, a SmackDown exclusive?
Yep.
Right. So and that really set it. I mean, and back then, that was when you really, I guess, needed a brand split because you had so many top level guys. Because you still had Foley, Undertaker, Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H. Who else was the top guy? I mean, Michaels would come in and out. I mean, he started.
JBL.
JBL was JBL.
That was the
one
whole
of
big
time.
thing, like with Paul Heyman said at ECW.
Didn't
The
wanna
only
work
reason you were
Tuesday.
champion for a year is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays.
Right. So the draft was just, I don't know. It's there's always pomp and circumstance in the build up, and it never hits for me. I don't know why it is. It just in the recent years.
I'm sorry. He just said the whole thing about the whole Triple H thing on Tuesday. He just did JBL do it. Oh,
Oh, with the heart attack. Oh,
The Fred Sanford.
yeah, he did the Fred Sanford. Oh,
He just said put that on the highlight reel.
he wants a highlight reel. He wants a short. He wants his own. He wants
He
his
wants
own
his
reel.
own short of him being
That's great.
JBL.
Oh, he wants his own reel. I'm gonna have to get JBL's music and everything now. Oh my god. Fantastic.
I'm going to continually interrupt the show.
I mean, Steve's not here to stop him, so here we are. But no, the draft.
What mommy is.
Right, yeah. So that supersedes everything. But yeah, the draft for me it didn't hit in the way that I feel like it should. There's a suggestion online that rather than making an all-out draft, just say that on this week every year the contracts expire and people become free agents, and then you can say, Jey Uso renewed his contract with Raw for the next year, and somebody like Baron Corbin goes, well, Baron Corbin's NXT contract ran up, so he signed with SmackDown or whatever, and then it kind of makes more sense that they're like negotiating these contracts.
I don't understand why, with the exception of the champions, people just can't interchange on both shows. There's enough talent to do whatever that you can take nights off. You could take weeks off and no one's going to notice or whatever with how much revolving talent that is. Make your champions exclusive to each show and then let everyone from each show have an opportunity to compete for whatever.
Or this is how you really build the mid-card champions.
Right. You would
Right.
keep one world title and then make the Intercontinental Champion the number one champion of the other show.
Yeah,
But
or
we
something
do
like
have-
that. Yeah.
But we've got the aforementioned Yoplait lid belt on Raw, and then we've got the World Championship on
And
SmackDown.
now we have the Speed Champion on X, aka Twitter.
What the fuck is that?
Ricochet.
So yeah, Ricochet was crowned after a tournament. So get this, Eric. So the idea is that there is a 3-minute time limit to the matches because I think that's how long you can make a video on Twitter. I just want describing this whole thing makes me want a meteor to hit the earth.
Society is
But
society.
so the idea is that they have to wrestle as fast as possible and get a win as fast as possible because the time limit is 3 minutes. If it's at 3 minutes, it just ends in a draw and nobody wins. So that's how they throw out the whole kayfabe of people wrestling for 60-minute draws or whatever. Like, nope, we got 3 minutes. They're going to take more risks. They're going to do more things. And then when a move happens, it means more or whatever. And then they just get fucking pinned. I don't.
On the main show, didn't Braun Breaker beat some Cedric in like I don't know, 30 seconds or whatever?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to, they're trying to do it like they did with the mixed match challenge.
I wish
But
they
see,
would
that
show-
was fun at least.
I agree. That
Yeah.
was way more fun.
Yeah.
Those were fun because it was tags you didn't like. Who would have ever thought that? Like that's what gave us Carmella and R-Truth for that whole time.
Yeah,
That gave us the Alexa Bliss, Braun Strowman thing. That gave
Yeah.
some really cool connections that we wouldn't have normally seen between male and female superstars. So that, at least even though it had nothing really to do with the television show, was a fun thing to watch. This was stupid.
right. Even like, remember the Miz and Asuka were a team?
Yes.
That was
Yep.
great.
And Natalia was with Shinsuke Nakamura, and she had him wearing cat ears and everything.
Yeah, so people got to do stuff like that was outside of their.
AJ Styles was with Charlotte, and they were doing dance breaks against R-Truth and Carmella. There was stuff you never would have seen, and you got to see their person. It was like watching a house show almost.
Right, yeah, for sure. And who was Big E tagging with? I just remember Big E taking a big letter L and giving it to Asuka, and then Asuka like takes it as if it's a gift, a nice gift.
Oh my god!
And then
you're right.
she hands it to the Miz, and the Miz is like, "Put that down. You don't want to hold the L." And she's like, "What? He gave me a gift." And she's like, "No, it's a." He's trying to explain that holding the L is a bad thing, and she's
And
just
I
like,
have to see. You're right.
And wasn't there a thing with Braun where Alexa had gotten injured at some point, so they replaced her with Ember Moon,
Yes.
and she would do
Of
the
course you
eclipse
would remember that.
Off the
or
shoulder, yeah.
something.
"Oh, of course you remember something like that." But I even like that the team Little Big thing, the implied will they, won't they of Alexa and Braun, like the whole thing was. I liked that a lot.
So
that was
season 1, that was Carmella. And then
Okay.
season 2 of it was when Carmella was with R-Truth. So the first season when she did that, it was to Carmella.
And I know what eventually what happened with that is like it started strong viewership wise, and then just slowly over the course of 2 seasons
Man,
went
you
down.
know how entertaining it would have been to have like an Otis and Mandy combo doing that.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
even if it's not Facebook, there could have been another market for the mixed match thing, because I think people do want. There's a certain subset of people that want intergender matches. I don't happen to be one of them. I'm fine with it. I don't. It's not something that I'm like sitting there going, "We
It
need
depends
more
on who
intergender
is
matches."
doing it.
Like, why
Right.
don't they do like a couples one? Like, can you imagine how over it's going to be when Charlotte and Andrade get together to do, right? As a mixed
Right.
match.
They could do that
Yeah.
with
Or Adam Cole and Britt Baker.
Yeah, well, that was something that was kind of when talking about this stuff was floated for the Owen tournament. What if the Owen tournament, instead of being 2 singles tournaments, one for men and one for women, that it was one tournament and it was mixed tag teams. So you would have
Yeah.
Cole and Baker together, and then the winners, you still give out 2 belts, but it's a tag. It's a tag.
But it's a tag team, but one for men, one for something
and
like
then
that
it-
would be good.
Yeah, and then after the baby, you could have Ruby and Angela together.
That's so cool. I like that.
I know that was awesome.
And I thought it was well done. Like it was mainly on Collision, I think, but it was just a lot of the backstage stuff was all set up real well.
Mhm.
And they did the whole trying to break up the relationship with a third party deal, and that they kind of reversed that trope and all that. Good stuff.
Definitely. That I have no problem with. But yeah, I agree though that something along the lines of doing that, the mixed tag thing, even if they did that on Twitter as opposed to the speed
Right.
championship thing, I think that would get more attention, because there's actually right now there is potential, regardless of couples or not, to have some really good mixed tag teams with the way the divisions are going right now.
Right. Oh, I absolutely agree, and it would give people stuff to do.
You picture one if it's going to have Montez Ford and Bianca Belair.
I mean, there's your winners right there.
Yeah. But
But you
we've
put-
never actually seen them work together. So
No,
that
but
would be
if the finals of that tournament are them against Charlotte and Andrade,
right.
there you go.
You could
Easy
even, I
money.
don't like, she's not the greatest, but you could do but she gets a crowd wherever she goes. You could do Carrie and Scarlett.
Yeah, that's true.
Hell, you could even do Cody and
Brandy.
Brandy.
Oh my God, that would be the
Who
ultimate.
the hell said it was open mic night, bitch? And then the match
Oh.
is over.
That would just be the ultimate Cody verse move. Hey guys, my wife wants to wrestle again. Tara
And then
has
the dog can be Winston.
right. Yeah, the dog makes the pin in the end. Hey everyone, sorry I was late FaceTime with enough. It's quite all right, Tara.
All good, honey.
Welcome. I want Tara because I don't want to take credit for this, and I need her to take credit for it in a comment, and then I will read the comment. The message that you sent about the name of an NXT wrestler. I want you to send that comment in the comments here on this live stream, and I want to put it up because it's just so funny. So I'll wait for you to do that. But while we do that, SmackDown, how much progression was made with this Bloodline story? Because the Bloodline storyline now seems to be refreshed. It's people seem to be back, more intrigued about what's going on. We're adding in new players. Let's tell the folks a little bit about what happened on SmackDown with the Bloodline storyline, and then we'll dip into some other stuff.
So, beginning wise, Solo showed up with Tom Tonga, and they approached Paul Heyman backstage because Paul was already there, asking how come that we haven't been drafted yet. And they go, well, Roman withdrew himself from the 2024 draft since he's going to be taking time off indefinitely. So there was a big issue with that. The fact that I think they were in the 3rd round picks to retain on SmackDown. So that was the start of them for the night. And oddly enough, that didn't even happen until, I want to say, 30 minutes into the show. So rarity that the Bloodline was not really opening the show or really closing out the show this week.
Right. Yeah, because usually they do. What was the main event? Cody and Carmelo, or what was the last segment?
Yeah.
Okay.
The last match was the Cody Carmelo and the botch from hell.
So yeah, I haven't watched the whole match, but I did see that.
They were looking for John Cena. What can I tell you?
The reception to the match was not exactly positive from what I saw, or if it was positive, it was in the middle. The middle of the road, kind of like it was okay, but it wasn't great.
But here's the thing with it, though. I don't think it was either one of that move specifically. Yeah, that was both. That was a big fuck up. But Carmelo is normally 99% of the time on his game. He is like pretty close to being one of the most flawless performers in NXT. I think we can agree to that because the kid is just amazing. His adrenaline was going too fast on Friday night.
Oh man.
His adrenaline was going way too fast, and
the whole time,
start to finish. He just, was it nerves? Was it excitement? Was it like, holy shit, I made it?
Right.
Don't know, but he was going ricochet speed the entire match. Cody can't compete at that level of speed and can't compete at that level of adrenaline to be able to balance that off.
Right, and that's not the kind of match. Yeah, that's not the kind of match he wrestles.
It wasn't the right debut match for Carmelo Hayes at all.
Right, and it was weird because people were like, "Oh, Swerve wrestled this Kyle Fletcher guy on Wednesday," and people were bitching about it online. And Kyle Fletcher's about where Carmelo Hayes is in terms of and then so I think it's a fair, I just, it's weird when AEW and WWE do similar things and then the discourse around it is so different. And it's just like, it came out today that the first segment of Collision on Saturday night, because the NBA playoffs were on, the first 15 minutes had 1.3 million people watching on cable. So that's why they had Swerve go out on Saturday night instead of Wednesday. Because on Wednesday, they were live coast to coast.
Right.
Which meant that the people who usually watch in Mountain Time and then California time would have to tune in way earlier in the day. It affected their ratings by about 8 to 10%. And wasn't great. So they got you got more eyes on the champion's first promo by putting it on Wednesday.
I believe it. But like I said, it was smart to put Carmelo Hayes out there right out the jump because especially when it comes with the NXT or sometimes not all main roster fans know who these people are. So it was smart to put him out there right away.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Don't think it was smart for it to be Cody. Right.
Yeah. And especially because I also don't want that guy going up and just immediately getting beaten. And I know he got beaten by the champion. There's no shame in getting
That was
beaten
the
by
other
the
pointless thing. Why
world
are you
champion.
making his debut against Cody? Won. He's finished his story, so to speak, with that or whatever. It wasn't making it. You know, the main thing is that you want to make the next guy look good. Didn't make him look good. It didn't make Cody look good. It made them both look like shit. And I'm a Cody fan.
Right. Yeah, dude. Like I said, I've been tracking this Cody reception online just since WrestleMania, just because we knew it was going to happen.
Of course.
You know, there's been a little bit of fall off. My favorite thing right now, though, is that the wrestling groups that I usually check for like wrestling news, 9 out of 10 posts or something complaining about Tony Khan. And it's like, you guys could be talking about anything else, and yet you choose to talk about him. If he's like, even like, I feel this extends to Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette. If Tony Khan's doing such a bad job and AEW is going to go out of business,
I'm talking about him.
Just all you have to do is let them do their thing, and then they'll go out of business and go away. But there's money,
right,
in that kind of complaint. And I'm not saying both ways. There's money in complaining about WWE too, because when WWE's bad, what do we do on this podcast? Holy shit. The whole podcast is us complaining about the show. So it goes both ways. That
absolutely
on the internet, unfortunately, hate or dislike or something controversial or standing out like that gets the hits and the clicks and the listens. Talking about how much you enjoy something.
But it also comes off in a total different way of bickering. If you and I have a different debate about something or whatever, it's not going to go anywhere except discussing the facts. These guys go at it.
No, Eric Bischoff called Dax. I almost called him Dax Shepard, Dax Harwood, a chunky little monkey on Twitter the other day. And I'm just like, Eric, you're 60. Eric, you're a grown man calling somebody a chunky little monkey on Twitter. Can you put your fucking phone down? Put down the jitterbug phone, Eric. Get your AARP card out. Let's go to Denny's.
He's got 5 more years if he's 60.
Oh, okay. How? I'm gonna look this up. He might
but
qualify.
What about Jim Cornette? Jim Cornette's been doing that though for
Jim Cornette's
years.
been complaining about everything that's not Smoky Mountain Wrestling for the last 30 years.
Exactly. But just gotta say, he acts like a big child too. And like, even what's the other guy's name? What's the jerk's name you were talking? Vince Russo.
Ew,
Oh yeah, bro.
He's built like a box.
He's built like a box. Yeah, he's built like a refrigerator box. Eric Bischoff is 68 years old.
Okay,
going
so
to be
he does have Medicare already.
Going to be 69 in a few weeks.
Don't even think
Oh my
about it.
Oh my god.
I knew that was coming.
That's a nice number.
What
What happens when you have
before? Goodbye.
teenagers around?
I've seen movies before.
Wait a minute. Well,
No, she has not. She is so full of shit.
just gonna sip
No,
this.
the movie Friends with Benefits with Justin Timberlake.
Your
Yes!
dad's calling you basketball. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh! Ow!
Dave, serves right.
Did the Knicks score 69 points?
About 2 hours ago.
I'm sure. Let's get through some comments. Tara has yet to type in her hilarious comment from the thing. If not, I will just say it, but I wanted her to type it out so she got the credit and I didn't just be like, oh, Tara said this. I don't have the sound effects. I'm sorry, David. Yeah, exactly. Here we go. 3 in a row. We're in a triple dip on David. Number 1, Tiffany Stratton is no Nadia Comaneci or Trish Stratus. Look at that. Not yet.
Not yet.
You know, both in gymnastics and in wrestling. We know how David loves his women's gymnastics. I'm waiting to see what happens with the is it World Championships or Olympics this year? I don't even know.
Olympics.
Oh, yes. My favorite time of year. I love the Summer Olympics. Let's see. David, second one. Trish Stratus said she's the second perfect 10 next to the living legend, the legendary women's gymnast Nadia Comaneci. I mean,
You almost said the living lesbian.
oh boy. I don't think she is, but you know what? That's her
almost
truth.
just said. You're the living legend. Tongue
Boy.
twister.
It, you know, there's a lot of and here's the other thing.
I think I've seen that movie.
All the capital letters, as much as I appreciate his perfect punctuation,
Oh yeah, each
I'm trying
does
to
start with a capital. Wow, I never
every
even noticed.
so I'm trying to determine sentence flow
That does
but
take
without
talent. Yeah.
so I'm trying to in like real time here. All right, and this is the longest one. So let's see what David says. I love David. Don't just know that we bust balls with people that we like, and we like having you on here.
Don't ever
think we're
change.
right. Exactly. No, please don't change. Be exactly
gold.
who you are. A stay gold pony boy. Yeah. September 17th, 06. Trish Stratus became the second perfect 10 McLeod tap out sharpshooter. Gnarly Comaneci's 30th anniversary. The first perfect 30 years. Okay.
30th anniversary of the first
Right.
perfect 10, July
Yes.
18th, 1976. Truth is truth.
So this is the tie-in how they go together is that
I
she
guess this
tapped
was the
out
awesome
Lita.
truth.
Right. So that was her the perfect 10 moment for Trish was I love I'm the best part is we can just try and figure this out, and then if we're wrong, he's going to send us a message and we'll figure it out. We'll work this out together.
We still never figured out the Michael Jordan thing that he was talking about.
I don't know what that was. Yeah. Oh man, we're bringing up old ancient history at this point. Oh my gosh. Man. So Raw, we continue the draft. Did anything else notable happen on SmackDown, or can we move to Raw?
No, and that's just it. Nothing really. It's true though. Nothing really notable happened over the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. So Friday Night SmackDown, unfortunately, ran into a bus known as the NFL Draft Night 1. They had their lowest. Something's supposed to happen really good in the next game. They had their lowest rating on Friday Night SmackDown that they've had in like a year or so. It's like it was still good, but it wasn't where their usual numbers are. So very similar what happened to Dynamite. They got they got affected by an outside sport.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of coverage for the NFL draft. So maybe they didn't have anything particularly exciting on the show because they knew they were competing with something that was going to get such a big number. I don't know.
That's true.
But,
that could be why they did something as minuscule as the draft, because it's not the big. It was trying to boost what could be ratings during that. That's a good point.
Right now, I guess my follow-up question then is, what was notable about Monday Night Raw for a 3-hour show that was worthy of a 3-hour show?
A 5-minute return of Braun Strowman.
Oh boy.
segment with Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
yes, I heard about that as
Yes.
well. Patrick Mahomes made an appearance, but as a heel.
Yes,
He
he
was with
gave
Logan
his
Paul.
rings to Logan Paul. Yeah, he gave his 3 Super Bowl rings to Logan Paul. But the benefit of that was it did not hit Jey Uso; it hit Jay-Z McDonough in the face because Jey Uso.
there's a lot of face to hit.
I know. His forehead had a lot of scar to prove it.
Oh,
I mean,
feel.
he even got fellow wrestlers calling him bobblehead these days.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! Somebody took a picture. I sent it through the group chat, but somebody took a picture of JD McDonough they took a picture of their TV with their phone, but they tilted it at an angle, so his head's like.
He looks like one of those blockheads from Gumby.
It looked like Big Head mode in 007 on the Nintendo 64. It was just huge. Oh my gosh, he's got a big old Irish potato head, as my friend Jay from OSW Review would say.
Let's see.
So that was it. They really just
Stephanie introduced the round 1 picks.
okay.
So we had Stephanie on. Let's see. We had Drew McIntyre talking about him being the savior. At CM Punk.
Punk comes
But
out.
again, promos only, he was in the skybox. Then when Drew McIntyre ran up to the skybox, then CM Punk had already made his way back down towards the arena. So,
But they're so right now, both of these guys are injured.
Yes. So Punk
That's
is still healing from, he doesn't have to wear the brace anymore, but he's still healing. But apparently he's now suffering, Drew McIntyre is suffering a shoulder injury in result to the match with him with Seth Rollins, but it does not require surgery. He did just sign his new contract this week with WWE. So he's under the new extended contract. So I guess they've been using him as healing time. When I say that, not heal like as a
Right. Yeah.
but his recuperation time, I should say, until Punk is ready, because obviously his first match is going to be against Punk.
Right. What about Seth Rollins?
Nada.
Nothing about his potential
Doesn't even
injuries
know.
or anything.
Becky Lynch opened the show.
Mhm.
showing off the women's title.
Right.
Liv and Nia both interrupted because Nia's like, I haven't left yet for SmackDown. I'm still here tonight. So Liv and Nia had a match.
Oh,
I believe, if I recall correctly, I think Liv won it.
cool. She should, especially
Yeah.
if you're leaving the brand, you got to go out, the
Yeah.
proper way.
So do we officially call Liv a tweener at this point?
I don't think. No. Because here's the thing. From what I saw online, Liv and Dominic were in the background of a backstage segment.
That was
So
last
see-
week.
Was that last week or was this? I thought I saw it from this week.
The confrontation between the two of them was
No,
last week.
like literally just so far in the background you wouldn't notice unless you were watching later.
Oh, they did it again. Okay. Because last
Yeah.
week they actually
Right.
met
Yeah,
in
they
the
had.
hallway. Okay, so
But no,
then
there was.
I didn't even
I don't
see
know
that.
which backstage
Okay.
promo it was, but they were like way in the background, and we're just kind of there. You know what I mean? So they're still teasing this thing. Hopefully, Rhea Ripley's not off for too long.
We're thinking like Rhea's going to come back as a massive babyface.
Of course.
Absolutely.
But now with this whole stuff going on between the Judgment Day and everything anyway, like, Damian Priest is all over Finn, JD, and Dom for all the crap and everything like that. Judgment Day might not even be a thing by the time Rhea gets back.
That's true.
Because now the LWO is also back on Monday Night Raw. So now Dom and Ray are on the same show again. And there was a conversation between the two of them again last night.
I would have thought a good way to kind of break up Judgment Day without really, like simmering a little bit, like just kind of do it without much fanfare. Just have Dominic on the different show, and then he goes with Legato or something.
Very few times has there been a tag team or a faction that was just like, you know what, guys, it's been a good run, but we're good.
They did that with Biggie. They did that with Biggie with the New Day.
Yep, that was the only.
And Bubba Ray and Devon.
Oh, yes, those are like the only two I can really think about because like every other one, whether it's the New Age Outlaws, Edge and Christian, whoever, I mean, it's always one person turns on another and they feud with each other a little bit, and then one goes one way, one goes the other.
Oh, and then I guess Carlito has now turned on.
Yeah, but he still got drafted with the LWO. That was the other interesting thing.
Okay.
Carlito was part of the group which I don't know. Did you know about that from Friday night? Vince?
Oh yes, yeah. About so
we called it a couple of weeks ago anyway, but the actual footage happened on
it
Friday.
actually okay. So that was that's
so now the entire LWO knows that it was Carlito that did it.
Oh boy, it was Carlito. The whole time he did it for The Rock. He did it for
It's
the
me,
people.
Carlito.
Well, he set up that guy to stab John Cena. Remember that?
Yes, he had Jesus stabbed John Cena in a club one night.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's ridiculous. That was a storyline in WWE. They would never do that nowadays.
20 years ago.
Yeah, somebody gets legit stabbed. That was like their story. He got stabbed in a club.
That's crazy.
And it was about 20 years ago. That'd be like 2004. Yeah.
Yeah.
He needed like some minor surgery or something. He was going to be out like 4 weeks or 6 weeks or something. So they had him get stabbed.
They implied he was stabbed.
Yeah.
They didn't outwardly say it, but
You're saying that's crazy? Come on. We had the big boss man steal the Big Show's father's casket from a funeral.
No, I'm not saying that was crazy. It's crazy that was 20 years ago. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You believe that these were storylines. Believe that was an actual storyline? Watching Paul White's lying on a coffin.
That was something else. And that was filmed in Connecticut.
Big Boss Man also fed Al Snow his own dog.
Oh my God, yep.
Pepper.
The Boss Man was a menace back in that time, man. He was an absolute menace.
Yep.
Because he stopped being a prison guard and he became private security.
Yep. That's another one of those crazy things that you ever think about it. However long that man's career was in WWF/WWE, the only title that dude ever held was like the 24/7 hardcore, or like the hardcore championship.
He did have the tag belts with Shamrock once.
And but he never won. Like you would think he would have been the perfect mid-carder, like for the old school Intercontinental Champion days.
Yeah.
Because some of the matches because for a big dude, he was freaking fast.
I mean, his match with Mr. Perfect at WrestleMania was pretty good, damn good.
His match, even with the freaking, I'm sorry, my favorite match is the Jailhouse match with the Mountie.
I love that match.
There was a point where they could have really put, and I know it was just bad timing on his part because Boss Man, when he came in as a young guy because he was in the NWA, Big Bubba Rogers for a little while, but then they snapped him up right away, and he was tagging with Hogan as like his buddy, like immediately, and he's in main events and he's doing the Boss Man slam, and like that sidewalk slam thing, it was the cleanest anybody's ever done it is when he did it.
Yeah.
But think about who was in the Intercontinental scene at that time. There weren't a bunch of titles. There was only a handful of titles.
All of the divisions were so good back then that there wasn't much room for, other people to have the belts.
Right. So him and Dusty had to fight over the police baton and then a police cap that he actually never wore. The Big Boss Man never wore a hat, and then suddenly Dusty came out with his fucking hat on his head.
But Boss Man was like main eventing with Hogan in cage matches and shit at the beginning.
Yes, exactly. That was the thing, man. He was like so big, no pun intended, but like he came in with so much fanfare. There really wasn't a place for him unless you had him involved with like Macho or Steamboat or whoever it was in 88 when he came in or 87 when he came in. He would have to be.
Well, that's why when they
big time story
first had him come in like that, that's why he was tag teaming with Akeem.
Right. So the Twin Towers there. They could have They could have him do something like that. Did they win the tag team titles?
No.
Nope.
Okay, I didn't think so.
They pretty much, in essence, broke up shortly after the whole Mega Powers thing when they threw Elizabeth.
Now, is it true, and I think it is, that Akeem the African Dream was just a thinly veiled shot at Dusty Rhodes?
I've read interviews from Gang that he denies it. He says that was just because they brought Dusty in after. So it's not really a.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Just the name.
Again, I got to say something about the polka dots. Why are people freaking out so much about it's all the only thing different about Dusty when he came in was the wardrobe. That's it. He was exactly the same character in the NWA.
But they also had him cleaning toilets and shit. You know what I mean? Like that was different.
Well, I mean, they were supposed to, because he was the everyman. He was the, the common man. He was doing all these things at the gas station, at the restaurant, at the,
Yeah, but a lot of them involved like poop.
Right, like the garbage truck and
And wasn't there one where he was like mucking manure, or am I misremembering?
He might have been a plumber in one, but
he was definitely a plumber in one.
He was a plumber's son, so that makes sense.
He was a plumber in one, and I remember because he was like leaning over the toilet. They had this really funny shot, and he's like leaning over the toilet, and he does his face go, ooh, and he waves his hand in front of his face, and he says something like, "Oh, that's stinky," or whatever he said. You know what I mean?
Dusty Rhodes is so charismatic that it doesn't matter.
He gave it 150%.
Everything he
even if
did
it
was gold.
Dumb. Like even if it was the dumbest thing he put in. Like I wish I could pull something up like on the fly like this, but if you've ever seen him, like they used to have the wrestlers film local commercials for like car dealerships and shit. And Dusty Rhodes would be like, "Come on down to Jackson Cadillac. They'll give you a good deal. Tell them the American Dream sent you." And you're like, "Oh, all right. Guess Dusty's going to make me buy a Cadillac now."
He gave a spotlight to Sapphire, who was a random.
I was going to say, proof of that is in WrestleMania 6. Because Dusty, Randy, Sherry, Elizabeth, they made Sapphire look like gold in that match, and Sapphire couldn't do shit.
Well,
Elizabeth, will you marry me?
The highest the highest that Sapphire ever got before being Sapphire with Dusty Rhodes was a referee. So she wasn't really bumping or wrestling. And also, wasn't she a woman of a certain age? I want to say
Yes.
she was in her 40s, maybe older.
Well,
Did
he
she do
pulled her
costume
out
design?
of.
Yeah,
He
he pulled her out of the crowd.
as a fan.
Right, and he didn't know she was working as a referee on, like small shows, like whatever
Right.
the equivalent of like territory shows. And she was buying tickets to WWF shows and sitting in the crowd with her sweater on, the polka dot sweater, to
Yep.
try and get and it worked. And the whole thing jived because Dusty was very much channeling like a black man of the time of the 70s and the 80s
Yes.
with the way he spoke and all this.
Mhm.
So and
Thunderbolt
then
Patterson.
and that, right, exactly. It was a Thunderbolt Patterson kind of deal. And like and Sapphire was just with it, like they danced and like I don't know, for what that was. It wasn't the Dusty Rhodes of the NWA where he was coming out with a cowbell and bleeding all over the place and making the other guy bleed. And,
But damn it if it wasn't over,
but
Oh, it was
and
fun.
and at that point in his career, do you think he wanted to still be doing? I mean, he went back to the hardcore shit
Well,
back
that's
in the
the
90s.
other thing too. He wasn't going to be world champion at that age anymore. Neither was Harley Race.
Right.
And not in WWF,
Right.
Definitely not in
But the
WWF.
even funny thing is though, because the WWE Hidden Treasures a couple of weeks ago was a Dusty Rhodes one. And one of the memorabilia stuff had Sapphire stuff, and Cody and Lita were there. And Cody even said, he goes, it wasn't until I was about 11 years old that I realized that Sapphire wasn't actually a member of my family.
It was like Aunt Sapphire.
You
He's
know
like, she
what,
was
that-
Aunt Sapphire. She came over. She became part of the family. He goes, you could not tell me that Juanita was not part of my family.
Hey, man, I think
Even
she
after
should
it was
definitely-
over, she was still in with the Rhodes family. So that I
Yeah.
thought was pretty cool, because sometimes some of these pairings break up and then nothing ever comes of it.
Right.
She stayed tight with the family. Cody was like,
Well-
we were at her funeral.
That's very nice that they were, because like she was such a big Dusty fan that even though she knew wrestling was a work and all this stuff, they had her go with the $1 Million Man, and she was just so heartbroken. She
Yeah.
she quit. She just quit because she couldn't
Wait a minute,
handle
I
it.
have to do what? She didn't understand. Yeah.
Little did she know it was going to end up with her getting back with Dusty in the end. Like that's the whole thing.
I think she was just heartbroken at the
Yeah.
fact that she wasn't going to be with Dusty anymore.
Oh, I know, but it was the way they did it was, and then she went missing, and like they had this
Yeah,
whole
and then she showed up with the bag and the furs and the diamonds and everything. It was a brilliant story what they were writing for her.
yeah, she couldn't see. I mean,
It would have catapulted her
Yeah.
more.
I mean, she wouldn't have wrestled, but she could have been a Sherry kind of manager that stayed relevant.
But the irony was she was supposed to wrestle at that SummerSlam she didn't show up in. She was supposed to wrestle
That's
Sherry
right.
Martel.
That was a wrestling match, but I mean, I don't picture. I never saw her as like women's world champion or wherever. I always
Okay.
thought
There wasn't even a women's world champion at that time.
Oh yeah, they didn't have.
So right after WrestleMania 3,
Mhm.
the women's title wasn't defended again or even talked about again until Alundra Blaze showed up
Right.
at WrestleMania 10.
Oh,
it
because the whole
disappeared.
Wendy Richter thing, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Rockin' Robin had it. She got it off of Sherry in like the late 80s, and they kind of quietly retired it, And then Alundra Blaze came out a few years later, and
And then they had to retire it again. They had to come
Yeah,
up with a whole
exactly.
new belt.
Like,
Oh my god, that's great. So we spent all this time talking about shit that happened 30 years ago because Monday Night Raw had nothing doing.
shows how
I-
entertaining Raw and SmackDown is these days.
Right. I mean, but that's
But you know what?
kind
It's
of
also it's also post WrestleMania.
Right.
They often kind of fumble after WrestleMania.
yeah. They don't really kick things back in until like going towards SummerSlam or maybe Money in the Bank now. But yeah, this is kind of the doldrums, the down period. We do have another David comment. Gunther should go after. Hold on a second. We gotta I gotta go back one. That was so the thing he was talking about September 17, 2006 was Trish Stratus's perfect 10 moment, winning her 7th. I should have been her 10th Women's World Championship. And that's why, and it is the truth. The truth is the truth. David. And then this one, which we can throw around the room because I feel like bigger things should be here for Gunther, but Gunther should go after the United States Championship.
He needs to go
I think
after more
Gunther's
than that.
ready to take the next step.
I agree. I think he is
Absolutely.
full steam ahead against somebody for a world championship, whether it's building to a Cody match, which I feel like it's an easy peasy feud there. Big German guy against the American guy. I mean, it just seems like it all works out. Or even having him challenge against Damian Priest. You have, first of all, a great match. You got two guys of similar size, big build, and it's going to be a hard-hitting match.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be opposed to that either. The only problem is, unless it's several months from now, Gunther's losing that match. And I really don't want to see Gunther losing that many matches because he already got beaten by Sami Zayn. He can't be just losing willy-nilly now. It has the wins and losses for somebody as big as Gunther need to mean something like they did with Brock Lesnar.
Sorry, just answering an email really quick.
Nice.
I wanted to mention, folks, Kat's birthday was a few days ago.
Yes.
And I sent her a gift, and maybe we can have Kat open her gift live on the air.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We totally forgot
It is
about
sitting
doing
here.
All
I'm
right, it is
here with
sitting
it.
All right. Excellent.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Kat. We're going to have a live unboxing or unveiling. And what do we got?
I love you.
Fantastic.
That is freaking awesome. I am not gonna lie. And it's
That is
got
a
the
really
different
nice-
hands and the microphone and everything.
That's a really nice brother love figure.
That's
And
a good
is
one.
the face is so
Yeah,
red.
and
Action
Vince,
figure.
the last one I gave her was when I went to her house was Greg Valentine during the
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Rhythm and Blues.
Oh,
era.
Rhythm and
Rhythm and
Blues
Blues
era
one.
with the black hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
And then
Get
my
the jacket
neighbors,
and the guitar and everything.
and then my neighbors on Saturday actually gave me the WrestleMania Funko Pops of Mr. T and Hulk Hogan.
Oh man, I
That's
wanted
really
to get that one. That's a
Did I
cool
show
one.
you? Hang on. Yeah, you guys talk amongst yourself for a second. I'll get them.
Yeah. That was a good get there, Eric. You
Yeah,
know
I
Kat
just-
really well.
It's funny. Oh man, I was, every time I'm at stores, I always look at the wrestling figures. I can't help it.
Mhm.
I saw a Captain Lou Albano one today.
Okay, not gonna lie,
man.
these are pretty badass.
Those
Yeah,
are so
oh
cool.
wow. Yeah, that's really freaking
That brings
cool.
back so many memories and shit.
That's a good one, Mr. T. And then
With
actually,
the poster.
the Hogan one is really good too. Let me get the glare off of here.
Oh yeah, because it's old school Hogan too. That's
Yep.
early Hogan.
Yep. See, look, it's got the belt on him too.
He's got the blue. Yeah, he's
With
got
the
like
blue trunks,
almost
yep.
almost like Rip.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Rip 'em.
The funny thing is, if you look, Mr. T's got the chains too.
That's fantastic.
They
I
did
have-
a really good job on these ones.
I have so many of those dumb things throughout my house and my parents' house at this point, but sometimes I just look at them and go, "Yeah, that one, that's just gotta come home."
Gotta get it. I gotta make a shelf for these.
Yeah, there are some. I'll have to look it up for you, but I think it's Billy. I think the Billy series from IKEA
Mhm.
fits Funko Pops pretty well. The shelving.
I got a Hobby Lobby around the corner for me.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you can.
I'm
go-
gonna get there's a Funko Pop that I want to get a friend of mine this year for his birthday. John Wick, and it comes with a little dog.
Comes with the dog. That's perfect.
Oh, that's good.
So Tara, Tara didn't put the comment in, so I can put it up on the
Her
screen and
phone
have
was giving her problems. She actually
Okay.
messaged me a couple of minutes ago.
Gotcha.
He said,
So-
"Tell Vince that he can say or post the comments
All right.
if he likes." She
Great.
said, "She said, have at it."
All right, so here we go. She sent a message to the group chat, and you shouldn't look at your phone while driving, but my phone buzzed, and I instinctively looked down, and I shouldn't have looked down because then I started laughing uncontrollably. Tara's watching NXT, and she goes, Obafemi is on NXT. That name sounds like a feminine hygiene product.
She's not wrong.
No, I mean, then I just had it in my head, this image of like, the commercial, some lady riding her bike and some soft music, Obafemi, just
I just went to a Massengill commercial just hearing that.
like a summer's eve. Are you not so fresh down there? Try Obafemi.
Oh my God, that song had a jingle. Summer's Eve brings back freshness every time. That is a real jingle for Summer's Eve. You think I'm kidding?
Oh,
If you go, I kid you not, this was a jingle.
It's real. I'm sure it's real.
Look it up on YouTube. There was a whole song. It's like, I'm dreaming of summer, cool breezes, fresh air. When I want that feeling, Summer's Eve takes me there. It was a whole thing. There was a Summer's Eve jingle. I am not having a Mandela effect.
I can't believe. No, it's real. I mean,
I dare
real.
you. See, I told you.
There are many of.
For a freeing crush feeling keeps the good times on my mind. Summer's Eve brings back freshness every time.
One of them is called "I'm Dreaming of Summer."
Yeah.
One of them is one of the commercials is just called "Manly Mistake," and it looks like it's a guy that used Summer's Eve.
Yes, that was the joke
products.
one, but yes.
Okay, there's I mean.
Yeah, but if the summer one, like that, yeah, it's like a girl on a beach or whatever. Yep.
I see a girl in a swing.
The first
She's
one that you
doing
were talking about. I dare you to play it.
So, a couple of women on horseback or something.
Told you. Summer's Eve brings back freshness every time. Told you.
What? What? See, this is what happens.
That's how I got introduced to douching, okay? Because I asked my mother what that commercial meant. Mom, what's Summer's Eve and can I have some? Because I had no idea what the hell it was. You gotta love 80s jingles.
I like that it was a commercial that they didn't outright say what the product was or
right,
did.
So you have to ask.
Nowadays,
You had to know or you had to
Mom,
ask.
what's that mean? Mom, because it was, I kid you not, the whole commercial started. Sorry, Steve, I know I'm fired now. But the whole commercial started with a mother and daughter walking on the beach. And the daughter goes, Mom, can I ask you a question? Do you douche? And then the song would play. So
I remember that part because it was like, there was another one, and I feel like maybe it was in a park or somewhere with grass, and they're sitting on a bench. And she's like, "Do you ever get that not so fresh feeling?"
fresh feeling? Yeah.
Tara's
That
back.
was
This is
a
all
Maxi
your
Cat
fault.
commercial.
Oh, okay. Tara, this is all your fault because you brought up Obafemi's name sounding like a feminine hygiene product, and now we've just been reminiscing about
I said
Summer's
that was
Eve
a new version of
commercials.
Massengill, Tara. Thank you very much.
Massengill. Obafemi sounds like somewhere that you would go for like a
Obafemi is
gynecologist office or something. Like it's just it's a doctor's office that only has gynecologists. You go to the Obafemi.
The Obafemi is the OBGYN.
I got one. The it's not about feminine products, but you know what the term "one lump sum"
Yes.
sounds like a Chinese food dish.
Is that what you think about during J.G. Wentworth commercials?
Called J.G. Wentworth.
817.
Yeah. I mean, how could you not? I mean, I died the first time I saw her say this. How could you not? Because not only is it funny, but Tara is like the nicest, sweetest. Like you usually don't. And just let Justin. All right, Justin. Tell Justin what Tara said and see what his reaction is.
I'm interrupting the Knicks right now. You're crazy.
Oh, okay.
Never happened.
You want to talk wrestling during the Knicks? No, see?
Wow. But yes, Tara, oh my God, Tara, you cracked me up. I mean,
Yeah,
I
Tara.
thought about it.
Yeah, Tara, you completely missed it. You have to go back and play because they didn't believe me about the jingle for Summer's Eve. And I actually sang it. And then he played it. And I was singing along with it because I remembered a
You
jingle
remembered
from 1987.
And I thought knowing the beautiful Mount Airy Lodge jingle was strange.
All you
but-
have to bring is your love of everything.
Beautiful Mount Airy Lodge.
Everybody knows it. I mean, if you're a certain age, everybody knows it.
There was that
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Come on, Milan, I'll take you to the love.
Oh yeah.
Every commercial had a
It was
jingle
for
back then. Now,
it was for the Milford Plaza, I think it was.
The Lullaby of Broadway.
there was that one too. Oh my gosh, that was like trips to New York or something.
Yeah, that was the
Vacations or
Milford
something?
Plaza was like the big hotel that was trying to compete with Trump Plaza. So all the commercials were for that one. That's what you watched during it came on during like every time you watch the People's Court. That's the commercial
Yes.
that was playing.
What
Oh my
about
God.
I'm really glad they made the Children's Aid Society.
I'm really glad they made the Children's Aid Society. Yep.
Have you seen the recent St. Jude's commercials?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without crying? Not really.
No, just the ones like they have the little kid who I can't tell if he's 6 or 70.
Oh, that's Shriners for Children.
Oh,
what
that's
it is.
Shriners. Okay, yeah.
Man, that is really. I'm not making myself sound like I have a life very much that I could just pull the shit out of my.
I love that you know which commercial I'm talking about. Because at one point during the commercial, the lore of these commercials, they put him on the team that was in charge of making commercials. And they had like a round table of like professionals and like the children, and they're all like saying what the commercial should be. He's like, I want to
Well,
be a
the one that the
superhero.
guy that you're talking about, that they'll send you this adorable blanket thing or whatever.
Yes.
He's been
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
those commercials for 20 years. He's not a kid.
That's what I thought. So he's
Yeah.
like, I mean, the good news is he lived. So they like, you should donate to the Shriners
Wow.
Hospital. Well, no, here's what I'm saying. The Shriners Hospital did such a good job that he's still kicking. Like, you should donate
you
money
said
to
it.
them because obviously they're doing something right. This was a pro Shriners comment, not a negative one. I wish that kid no ill will.
I know. He's
You
probably
wonder if-
older than you.
we can put a wrestling spin on this and remember the Hulk Hogan right guard sports stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Anything unless would be
And he's
uncivilized.
painting on the beach. That was a weird
I
one when you
kid-
were
I kid
5
you not.
years old.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should try not to filter the rest. That was what he would say. It's like
God.
sublime.
And it was the same. Like they had one with Charles Barkley. I don't even remember. They tried to make Charles Barkley sound sophisticated in those right guard commercials.
They tried to make Bret Hart sound familiar in
Terrible.
Ico Pro commercials.
There's a commercial for a Canadian production of Aladdin where Bret Hart played the genie.
I
And
remember
it's just like-
him dressed as that.
Hi, this is former WWE champion Bret Hitman Hart, and I'm inviting you to Aladdin. It's a magical time, and he's like talking about like how magical of a time you're gonna have at Aladdin. I'm like, Bret.
I think I like the idea of Yokozuna playing Santa Claus better.
Oh, I mean, he fits the role. So Tara said she wished her brother saw this. They've literally told me the unfunniest person on the planet. F you, Robin, Chris. See, that's funny.
That was funny
Not a
too,
zing-
sweetheart.
yeah. That was a zing. The Obafemi thing would just caught me.
That is
completely Out of
hilarious.
left field. Like just out of left field, because like who would think she'd send that through the group
He's gonna
chat?
kill me for singing douching commercials though on
Yeah.
the air.
Really? That was probably our peak of viewership.
How many viewers do we have tonight?
I mean, it's been dropping off since WrestleMania season. I think we topped out at 6 live viewers. It's
I'm
been
joking.
between
I
5
didn't-
and 6.
I was gonna say you could have said, "Oh, it dropped off to like -1 after the singing."
Negative,
It's okay.
yeah.
10 years ago,
No.
Steve and I were doing some Tag Me a Date stuff for in Pittsburgh, right?
Mhm.
And I brought along some, wrestling themes and shit. And Steve almost veered off the road when Birth the Phase music came on.
You wait. You put a CD on. It was Why would you put Bertha Faye on?
Because it's hilarious.
Okay.
Oh, my sweet Bertha Faye. I don't know what scares me more. Again, that's something else I remembered. That was Harvey Whippleman, wasn't it?
Yes.
Jeez, so much old.
Bertha Faye, I love you.
Oh my god.
There really was nothing going on this week. If we're dipping into Bertha Faye material,
Well, the most exciting thing that I didn't even get to see, I have to go check it back on the replays, was I was interested in seeing what that underground match looked like on NXT tonight with Natalia.
yeah,
But-
that's something that we can check right and then talk about next week. Oh, I know. I mean,
You'll take the blame for that. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate it.
so did you? We'll touch on this briefly since we're at the top of the hour. But we'll do a little extra, I guess, because we haven't really talked about AEW. There was an angle where Tony Khan took a Meltzer driver, or what they renamed the Tony Khan driver.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy hit him in the gut. They hit him with the pile driver, and then next thing you know, Tony Khan is spotted at the NFL draft in a fucking neck brace, making their draft picks on live television with a neck brace, going on interviews on NFL Network and like selling this thing. He did an interview, and in the middle of like it was on the NFL Network on cable, and in the middle of the interview, he just drops, they hit me with a spike pile driver. That's the most dangerous kind of pile driver. It's banned in the state of Tennessee, and then just keeps going and talking about everything else. It's like,
Thank you, Andy Kaufman.
right? I love. It's just so funny. And then
Joel Gertner was wearing one for like 20 fucking years.
I think it's a good gimmick.
Bobby Heenan.
I was gonna say Cowboy Bob Orton.
Yeah.
Most recently,
But-
Roderick Strong had the whole neck brace.
Strong, yes. And
But then he goes and says that calls Vince McMahon the Harvey Weinstein
oh
of
yes,
professional wrestling.
Yes.
I can't, you know what? If that happened 30 years ago during Monday Night Wars, it wouldn't we would have been already forgotten about it because something else more controversial would have happened the next week. It's just so weird because we're in such treading lightly times with the way people have to choose their words and the things that they say. And like, here's the thing: he's not funny, but he's funny because he was trying to go. We're the Pepsi. And they're expecting him to say they're the Coke, but he goes, they're the Harvey Weinstein. He kind of like, he's like, I got you. Like it was
Yeah.
right. You needed that. What is the monkey doing the from?
But a bunch.
He has like his frowny face on it. Some cartoon or claymation thing, but I see it all the time. It's like but anyway, that's what he needed was a little guy in the background giving him a boom boom to let people know where the punchline was.
And every time I see this segment, I keep thinking he's pulling an Eric Bischoff NWO thing.
But here's the funny thing. Half the wrestlers and half everybody that's involved in the business of professional wrestling is sitting back going, no shit. Like, we knew this already. We just didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an open secret. But I think what's interesting is that he did this kind of as a way. I don't think he's going to be a character the way that they're treating this because he's been off, effectively off TV. I think they use this as a way to introduce a new authority figure that's not Tony. So when decisions are made on TV about matchups and stuff, it's not coming from the desk of Tony Khan. It's coming from some new authority figure.
But if it's coming from the Young Bucks, that's going to be stupid, though. Sorry.
No, I agree. But I think here's my theory is that in an interview, and this is like a real interview, not like a kayfabe interview, but Tony Khan said that he told his dad if anything ever happened to him, the guy he would want to run the company was Bryan Danielson. And he's about to retire from full-time competition. So maybe they announced that he's going to be the new, whatever they call it, general manager, director of authority. And then, you have a guy that can make those decisions about matchups and stuff. And also, if need be, get out there and wrestle. Because you can get heat with Tony, but he can't wrestle. So get an authority figure that can actually get out there and take a few bumps.
Maybe, but as I say, as we've been proven already, Bryan Danielson can only do it as a face because Bryan Danielson doesn't really work all too well.
No, especially right now. I mean, he's on such a incredible run of singles matches lately that it would be really hard to make him get booed.
Right.
I don't know who they could put him up against to get him good. Even with Osprey, like people only they didn't boo him. You know what I mean? It wasn't he was effectively the heel in the match, but I don't think he got booed in the way that
The only person I can really see him that would be difficult with the heat would be Swerve. Because
Yes, I was
Swerve is
thinking
so
that.
over right now.
Incredible. This
They're
guy.
not gonna the fans ain't gonna turn on Swerve. They would turn
know.
on Brian before they turned on Swerve.
Right. And listen, Samoa Joe has been one of my perennial favorites the last 20 plus years of me watching wrestling, between Ring of Honor, TNA, and then whatever else he did in between to become AEW World Champion. He's incredible. And he really helped out in a time where AEW needed a champion that was going to go on a long run, reestablish the title after a bunch of injuries and vacancies, and then put over a fresh young talent to help launch their career. He did that so well. And now Swerve, he just comes out there and he's a superstar.
The important thing, though, is to make sure that they give Swerve quality opponents, and make his reign mean something,
Right.
Oh yeah, I think, and that's
because he's got all the tools, but it's a matter of they got to provide him with the right stuff.
But that's the issue with everybody's big first title run like this, and it's even what Cody's running into now. Is all right. We had all this build up. You won you had your big moment. You won the title. Now what? And now you got to defend the title against who? Now his first defense is against AJ Styles. Should be a good match.
Right. It's kind of like when Warrior won the title.
Right. You're like, what do you do with this guy? And I think, for Cody, the money's in the chase with this guy. You know what I mean? I think I don't know how long of a title reign he's going to have. I'm not saying it's going to be a month long, but I don't think it's going to be like 3 years like they did with Roman Reigns. I think I think he's going to drop the title within maybe by SummerSlam. Well, maybe that show in Cologne, Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's money in him.
Point, yeah.
There's more money in him chasing. Because I don't know. I guess we'll see if the world is ready for Cody Rhodes wrestling main event length matches against guys like AJ Styles. In 2023 or 2024, we'll see how this. We'll see how it pans out.
And Vince, it's like you said, the only person that looks like a what if moment for Cody with the belt is Randy Orton.
Yeah, there's not a lot of question marks on the roster. Gunther's one of them, and Randy Orton's probably the other one.
Yeah.
If he faces either the Usos, he beats them. If he faces any of the Bloodline, he beats them. Especially with the Bloodline the way it is now. And just thinking about the main eventers, he's not losing to Kevin Owens. He's not losing to Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wouldn't even challenge him because he's got the IC title. Like I don't know. Shinsuke, I have the sneaking suspicion that Shinsuke got drafted over to SmackDown just to put over Cody Rhodes a few more times.
It's possible, but
and did you hear Shawn Spears has been moved into an agent's role on NXT?
Really?
Is it safe to say that?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that, and then they brought Baron Corbin back up again now too.
Oh yeah, we're gonna try this fucking experiment every couple years. We know how it goes. They push him big, it flops. Yeah, but is it safe to say that Shawn Spears is the Brutus Barber Beefcake to Cody's Hulk Hogan?
Ouch.
Because everywhere Cody goes, all of a sudden, here he is. You guys met my buddy Shawn?
Oh my God.
I don't know if you guys have noticed in the last couple of brawls, backstage brawls and shit, that Kenny Dykstra was one of the agents back there trying to break shit.
Nice. That's good.
Yep.
You always see Jamie Noble and the Hurricane.
Yeah, you always see those.
Even Abyss and
Yeah, Jason Jordan was out there last night. Davari was actually out there. I'm sorry, not last night. They replayed it last night, but when Ludwig Kaiser was beating up Giovanni Vinci from last week or whatever. Davari was mixed in there too, separating it.
That's like in the 80s and 90s, you'd see like Rene Goulet out there with the, unmistakable haircut. That he'd always be one of the backstage people to break fights and stuff.
So there was a children's program in the UK and Ireland called Wurzel Gummidge, and it was a living scarecrow kind of thing. And there's a podcast called OSW Review that's a wrestling podcast. And from early on, and now for like the last 10 plus years, all I can think of when I hear of Rene Goulet is they call him Wurzel Gummidge, because this scarecrow has a floppy bowl cut haircut, just like Rene Goulet. So every time he showed up in like the early 80s episodes, the 80s episodes they were reviewing, they'd be like, there's Wurzel again. And they'd play like the Metal Gear Solid blink noise, like whenever he popped up on the screen, like it was like an extra special thing. But I can't not think of the haircut that Wurzel Gummidge has.
How many funeral parlor segments have you seen him in, right?
My favorite was which one was it where it might have been a Warrior one where they were trying to nail it shut, but like you could tell the Undertaker they didn't want him to really nail it shut, so he like got a few hits in and then like purposely bent the nails crooked. But then all the guys ran in, and Rene Goulet is one of them, and they're like they're faking like they're having the hardest time prying this lid off. They're like, oh, I can't get it. It's like,
yeah, that's when they locked the Ultimate Warrior in it. Yep.
The Ultimate Warrior, man.
Now, what was the name of that TV show that you say?
Wurzel Gummidge, and I think
And
you just type in
Zoo was bad.
Yeah, if you type in Worzel, it's going to be the first thing that comes up. But it was, this is disrespectful to Rene Goulet if you ever see the picture. Oh my god! But it does look like him. It looks like it's got the nose, it's got the haircut, it's got everything.
It was that unmistakable.
All right, now I gotta look.
Well, that was one of those things that you knew things were getting serious when you started seeing guys like that come out, because they were.
How do you spell it?
Worzel. And then if you type a G, you should start getting should autocorrect the rest of it. But okay, you see it now. Can you, because my camera is too far away, it's across the room. Can you just flip that? Can you just show
I'm trying, it won't let me. I'm like on 1%, but oh my god, let me see if I can do it on the computer and share it. Hang on.
Oh my god. But
that
yes,
was great.
It's but you knew if you were like back then, if you were like a teen or an adult wrestling fan and you saw Rene Goulet come out, like if you were a real wrestling
fan, WORZEL.
If you saw those guys come out, you're like, oh man, they used to be wrestlers. Now they're like, they got suits and everything. And it felt important because they didn't do it a lot.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, they break up fights, 10 times a show or whatever. But back then it meant a lot. When you started seeing those backstage guys come up, you're like, oh, things are serious.
Yeah.
Like when Macho got his arm bitten off by the snake. All those guys came out.
I'm trying the share screen button for the first time, so this might go bad.
Oh, here we go. Let's see what happens. I've never done this either.
On here.
I was trying to figure out if I could find a way to load up MP3 files so I could play them on the screen, but I am not that familiar with how StreamYard works.
I can do that. Share. It might let me do it just here really quick. Hang on.
I believe in you.
I think one of the funniest kind of things of that was like the Hell in a Cell when Terry Funk.
But then so you have to approve it because that other screen is backstage.
Oh, I see. All right. And just for reference, can you now just Google Rene Goulet?
Absolutely.
I can't believe we're doing this right now. It's so fun. It's just. I like that Renee Zellweger's the first one.
I know. It's like, there it is.
How is it not him? It's him. Oh my God.
But if you look, you can like see both screens. You got him on the top and him on the bottom. It worked. Yes, it freaking worked. I'm so excited.
Oh, what the hell? Oh. What? Poor Renee Goulet.
I cannot believe that worked.
You can see it in the bottom.
The things that happen.
I
when
couldn't.
Steve's
I
not
couldn't.
around.
Because
Yeah,
I
we
left
would-
both screens open at the same time. I'm like, please let this work that I could almost get a side by side.
Pretty much. Oh my god. Yeah, this is what happens when Steve's not around. We can dip into some settings that we never tap into.
I'm like, well,
Oh
it
my
works on
God.
my Google Meet when I'm doing my sign language classes. It should work
Oh, there
on
you go.
here. Don't.
Hell
We
yeah.
talked about Sapphire for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't. Well, we don't know. I don't know anybody that Sapphire looks like. That's a fictional character like that. Oh my gosh, that's a dead ringer.
Dude, you know what's funny though? If this screen works, like if we want to replay something, we can replay YouTube or replay something
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
screen and show
definitely.
people.
There's also a thing where you can add files in, like on the present thing. It says
Yeah.
video file, and you can just throw in.
yeah. It only lets you do it for 2 minutes though, and then you have to re-let it back in. So I just shut it off too because it was but it gives it in 2-minute intervals because someone then from either your controls or Steve's controls has to make the time longer.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
well,
it
now
told me I had 2 minutes, but I only needed 2 minutes.
Excellent.
That didn't
So do
sound right
I.
either. Same page. That didn't sound right.
We have a similar problem. Ugh. No, that's weird. Wow, we're both, but we smashed heads together trying to make the same show. We like both came at it at the same time.
B team, go, go,
I
go.
love it. Oh my god,
Oh my
that
god.
was
I
fun.
cannot believe I got that to work though. That was like the best thing I've had happen since showing Steve a picture of his girlfriend Zoe.
So now you know, you can be like, "Hey, Steve, I want to show you a picture."
He's
Very
not going to approve it for me because he's got to approve it first.
That's true.
So whatever I try to do, it's not going to work on his end because I mean,
Right.
well, I could like write
Depends
him a
on what
love-
it is.
We can write a love song now and post it for Steve, so when he plays it back. But
I found there was a podcast I was listening to the other day, and I'm gonna have to go back and find it. They had a website that if you typed in lyrics, it would AI generate background music and a singing voice to sing the lyrics, and you could like tell it what kind of style you wanted and whatever.
write
So
him a song for Zoe Stark.
we could write an "I Love Zoe Stark" song and put it into the AI and have the AI play it for us.
Do it in the tune of "I Love Rock and Roll."
I love Zoe Stark.
He would be so mad. We
Yeah,
gotta
shit
do.
for
All
a
right, I gotta
singing
find it.
telegram for him at his job or whatever.
We're all getting fired.
How much
Right.
would Cameo charge us to make Zoe Stark? Can you imagine if Zoe Stark
Hmm.
actually went to his job?
Oh
to-
wow, I don't know how we could make
for
that
his
happen, but I
birthday?
want it. But Tara said that match you were looking for said it's on right now. It's not bad, so that's good news.
Could write Zoe as a Make-A-Wish for Steve.
Tell it. You should tell him Steve's got whatever that kid from the Shriners has, but he's only 17. He just looks that old. So he still qualifies for Make a Wish because he's 17.
I say, brother, we don't know how much more time he has
Yeah.
to live. And it's his dying wish for you to come see him.
He just recently lost all of his hair. You got to make it plausible. You know what I mean? You got to try and sell it. Please, send
Notice
Zoe
how
Stark.
completely silent Eric is being. I am not privy to this.
Oh my god, this is what happens when we go out overtime. We get silly.
It's okay, Steve. We love you.
We love you.
Brother
Anything?
Don says so.
Anything else we need to go over right now, or shall we? We're gonna be fired or killed after tonight.
We're gonna get
according
fired
to Tara.
anyway.
Yeah, no, this was a good one. Anything else we need to go over? Any particular? I know Eric is usually good for having something stuck in his craw.
You
They
know,
make pills for that now.
we talked we talked about this last week with Ludwig turning on Giovanni,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
And so I had brought up in the other chat with Tara that like could they be bringing in Dragunov as a member, but he's a better opponent for Gunther. So like, but if they're kicking out Giovanni, like, are they going to bring in somebody else for Imperium, or is it just going to be,
Dragunov wouldn't be a bad call.
No,
I
he
th-
wouldn't be.
But I also don't know if they're, is this as far as like Imperium? Have they peaked as a group?
I
Is it
mean,
time for
unless
them
they
to?
bring back like Alexander Wolf or something, you know.
Yeah, like that guy.
See, here's the thing though. Ludwig Kaiser and Giannotti Vinci need Gunther. Gunther
Right.
does not need the two of them.
Yes.
100%.
So it stands more to reason. Another couple of weeks down the road, Gunther is going to dump Ludwig Kaiser also as well. And then the two of them form something.
Mm.
And then maybe you get Ilya Dragunov and Gunther against Ludwig and Giovanni.
Or they can, they can have Gunther and Dragunov go against each other because that was money on NXT. So
True. But what I'm saying, if it's going to
But
happen,
switch it up a little
it's
bit
going to
first, yeah.
be losing both of them because, like I said, the entire reign, 90% of Gunther's matches did not have like Roman Reigns outside interference for Gunther to retain. Gunther retains most of his matches clean.
Right. And a lot of the time it was them to set up a match with Gunther.
Right.
They would lose.
Right.
So he was always disappointed. Like that was a constant thing of him being like, you guys need to step it the fuck up.
And Ludwig is entertaining enough on his own, I think, to maybe get like a slight singles push if possible.
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton seems to think so.
Yeah. Just a slight push.
She finds him entertaining.
There we go. Mixed match challenge right there.
Another couple. They could just do real life couples. I think it would be great. And then Ryan Cabrera and Alexa
Bliss. Oh my God. Can you picture him in the ring?
No, but it would be funny. It would be funny if they did a commercial for it and they were advertising this new mixed match challenge as all real life couples, and they show like Charlotte and Andrade and like all these real life couples, and then they cut to them, and Ryan's like, no. Keep going. And then they cut to the next.
I love him though. I absolutely love Ryan Cabrera.
I don't know if I'm that familiar with his work.
He's a good musician. You check out his music.
What would I know? Like, what would be a right? What's?
What was that song? Hang on, it was so good. I have to look it up. But I remember.
I didn't even know what he.
It was like late '90s, early 2000s.
I'm lucky I pulled the name Ryan Cabrera. I don't even know how I remembered that.
I didn't really know who he was until he got with Alexa Bliss, to be honest.
Yeah, I think his name fell off my radar. Now we're all looking into this freaking guy.
No, Rubik's Groove. That was the name of it. Yeah, and On the Way Down was in May of 2004. If you played the song, you would know it.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
then.
if you play it, you would have known it. If you it was.
Oh, here we go. On the Way Down and True are two more.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
All right. So yeah. All right. So yeah.
You are correct. It is On the Way Down. I couldn't think of the name off the top of my head. Thank you, Tara.
So yeah, I'll have to look that up because I listened to a lot of music back, especially in 2001-ish. I was in high school, so I was listening to a lot of
it was 20 years. It was 20 years. Like I said, the last time he had a hit was like 20-something years ago. But if you watched Ms. and Mrs., right?
Yeah.
Did you watch Ms. and Mrs.? Miz was always going to the recording studio with when he was trying to make the music soundtrack for Maurice's birthday.
Oh, okay. So he was hanging out.
That's Ryan Cabrera.
Right. Fun stuff. I mean, that's a nice little tie-in.
And the only other thing I could think of is how bitter Ronda Rousey is these days.
Oh yeah. But I mean, she's another.
He's like, not everyone's going to get the Logan Paul treatment. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They handed everything to you.
They did, and I think they didn't do her any favors the last maybe year or so. I don't think she.
Yeah, after the Royal Rumble return that year. Yeah, no, her first run was way better than her second run.
And
Exactly.
I always say this about like the difference between her and Shayna is. Shayna is better on the mic and in the ring than Ronda, but Ronda had the more star power.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what brought Ronda to the dance. The star power.
I think there was a lot of a lot of opportunities missed, and I know that the rest of the four MMA four horsewomen didn't really shake out the way they wanted them to in wrestling to do
Yeah,
the
especially Jessamine Duke. She just wasn't.
Because
No,
it's
she
not-
wasn't in.
But it's not the
Marina at least had
show.
Roderick Strong, and you know
Right, and she's actually pretty good now.
she's improved.
Yeah, she's definitely improved. But I think that I think the easy money was putting Ronda in a faction or a group with those girls or just with Shayna, and then you rock and roll express the motherfucker. Shayna takes all the bumps, tags in Ronda, bing bang boom.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like that would have been easy money whole
Horsewomen
way.
versus horsewomen. You know.
Right, and even having, it's kind of a reverse Diesel situation where the enforcer is shorter than the main event talent. And that's kind of a flip of that's a dynamic everybody knows in wrestling, but you're putting a little twist on it. So that could have been a way they could have gone about it. But yeah, the thing with Ronda is she's like this on the way out of whatever she's doing.
But you
She
know
was
what,
the
though?
same way with the UFC.
Everything though that she has said, though, she has constantly said that she has nothing bad to say about Paul Levesque or Stephanie. This all has to do with
Right. It's all.
so right. But what I'm saying is,
And they
5
were in her
years down the
first
road
match.
when she has nothing going on, she'll be back just like how CM Punk was back, how everyone else is back or whatever. Don't
Yeah,
close.
I mean,
the door.
she's not
She hasn't pulled a Ryback yet.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say she's not on the Ryback level.
Oh no. Once
She's bitching, but she's not wrong because we've seen female superstars go about this like about with Camaro.
Mm.
We've heard this before from stuff that happens with the female wrestlers, but nothing she has said. Like, I'm sorry, I don't listen. I think the Drew Gulak thing is stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what the full. I think there's.
That's all he did.
Yeah.
If that's
right.
all he did, that is ribbing
Yeah,
backstage. And I'm like, I was like, when she said she was going to say, I was like, oh my God, what did he do? And I'm reading the whole thing and I'm like, he pulled the string on your sweatpants. That's it. I'm like, and that he got suspended for that? I don't understand.
Yeah, they wrote him off of NXT.
Yeah, I don't understand what that is because, like, not like I personally know Drew Gulak, but from anything I've heard from any superstars or anything backstage, he's one of the guys that he's the team player dude that pretty much
for
gets
sure.
along with everybody backstage. He's not, this dude. No
Right.
other female superstar has ever come out and even concurred anything that she said.
No, I mean, unfortunately, so they have
Like,
to
if
be.
he did that, but I'm sorry, and if Ronda Rousey, I don't care what interview or who she's talking to, if she felt like she was being harmed or threatened or harassed in any way, she could have freaking killed him
Right.
barehanded.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think that whole thing is extremely stupid, and I don't care if it's supposed to be I'm a woman, I'm supposed to be backing the female or anything like that. That is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
But also, they have to, because of this whole Vince McMahon lawsuit, they have to be very careful. So,
right,
as
but
a
for something as stupid as that, it's
Oh, I know, but this is where we're at.
like,
I mean,
look at what happened to Ashley Mazzaro. Okay.
Yeah. No, I know.
What happened to other female superstars that, regardless of this lawsuits or anything like that, we know happened. Sunny's been adamant about stuff that happened back there. Sherry Martel has told stories. We've heard of the Moolah stories
Mhm.
and everything like that. This is
Definitely.
nothing.
No, I'm with you on that. It seems like they probably investigated it and took him off TV just until the heat dies down and whatever it is.
This isn't an Enzo Amore Velveteen dream shit.
Right. And even the Enzo thing ended up being
Bullshit.
right. So and this, that guy had
They kind of jumped the gun with that.
That guy got his career ruined for
His whole-
literally
right.
doing nothing.
exactly.
Not that he was the greatest thing since sliced bread or anything like that, but he was entertaining to watch.
Right, but I think he was having attitude problems or whatever, where they were kind of looking for a reason, and that was enough.
I get it. But you know, with the, well, trust me, him still breaking into the getting a ringside seat on a live pay-per-view
That's
Oh, that-
hilarious.
was the funniest thing ever. But like I said, his career got ruined for someone trying to cash in.
Right.
And like we know what Velveteen Dream did. There's no denying what happened there. But they jumped the gun, and they're it's not, like I said, it sounds like they're jumping the gun on Drew Gulak because like I can count how many times in my entire life something like that has happened to me or whatever as a girl, that a guy did something stupid, like pulled your bra strap or did something stupid like that. Big freaking deal.
Right.
And
No,
I hate to say this, but I didn't even know that Drew was still in the company.
Well, he was working NXT and working backstage.
Right. Yeah, that's what
But-
is kind of his role now.
But
Yeah.
this incident, she said, happened almost a year ago.
Right.
Like, come on. And if you said that this
Yeah.
happened when you were having you were talking with people, so that means there was at least another person present
Right.
when you did it. So why is no one confirming your story?
I mean, it took up to 30 women for me to realize that maybe Bill Cosby did do all the shit. You know what I mean? Because like some of the women weren't credible.
Right.
I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole because I,
mean,
still think
you
you go
know.
to a casting couch, you know what's happening. But, you know,
What do you mean the pudding pop tastes funny? Just eat it.
you go into a man's hotel room and he's giving you Quaaludes and wine. You think you're reading a script?
So no, I'm Dr. Cosby. I'm good.
No,
It's all right.
Exactly.
Oh, you see,
Hospital's giving you an examination. I mean,
Now you see, this is for your own good. Just drink the drink. You drink your drink, and then you have a good night.
like I said, that's another one. Like, I can't. I can't with that one either. Like, that one just makes no sense to me either. But like I said, I think the Drew Gulak thing is bullshit.
Yeah, no, listen, there's the existence of a Drew Gulak situation, it just proves that the severity of things that other people did. So we can compare the things
Right.
and find which one we find more distasteful. Grabbing somebody's drawstring or, Harvey Weinsteining it up. I feel like there's a big gap between the two.
Wrestlers going in the female locker rooms while they're in the shower. We know that happened. That's a lot different. Pulling the towels off of
Yeah,
we know that hazing and ribbing happens.
Yeah, it's
That's
just weird
different
because
than pulling the string of your sweatpants.
oh yeah, for sure. But it's weird to me because I've been on so many indie shows where the women's wrestlers have their own specific locker room, and if there's showers needed, they have their own specific like independent promotions really try hard to maintain men not going in the women's locker room and
Of
vice
course,
versa.
and I'm saying there's probably more scrutiny and everything about it now. But what I'm talking about then, like I said, we know this stuff happens. But like with everything about making sure that this stuff doesn't happen nowadays. Like I said, a rib of grabbing. Like I said, I don't think he was doing it.
Right,
She
the
knows
window,
who her husband is. Are you freaking crazy? Why hasn't he killed Drew Gulak by now?
exactly. Matt Brown would have put this guy in the dirt, but it's just I hate to say, be an old boomer and be like we're living in sensitive times, but like we're living in sensitive times.
That is
man.
extremely sensitive and extremely stupid. Like I said, I don't care if I get heat for being the girl saying it, but like
I think that's better than me saying it.
you are one of the toughest, strongest women on the planet.
Literally.
You mean to tell me that him walking past you, and he said, I went past her, he's like, I didn't think I did anything,
Yeah, because I'm sure he's. I've probably done that too. Just go back, boop. Like he probably even said this motherfucker probably even said boop as he went by because I know I would.
This isn't Ric Flair on a plane just opening up his robe.
Right.
Going, whoa, this is not even, and even that, like I said, call me a different type of chick or something. I probably would have been laughing my ass off on the plane.
Right.
I don't care, but like, it's probably one of the stupidest comments I've heard or things I've heard. Like we don't know what happened with Janelle Grant completely, but something obviously happened with Janelle Grant.
Oh,
So
yeah.
compared to Janelle Grant, compared to Ashley Massaro, compared to other things that, like, I can't even run up all the names of stuff that we know transpired, Sable even. This is nothing. This isn't coming at the hands of your boss. This isn't coming at the hands of the heads of the company. This is coming at a glorified jobber with a role backstage, and he grabbed your sweatpants string. Whoopsie fucking do.
Yeah, no, I think it's a whole lot of nothing. I mean,
Not
obviously,
for nothing,
I don't want
to do that because he wanted to get a peep show or something to sound no disrespect to Ronda Rousey, but there are plenty of other chicks on that roster that he probably would have rather have been.
Hey, there was a time before she was married to Matt Brown where I would have liked to see more of Ronda Rousey. And as you said, now she married somebody that could legitimately just eat you for lunch like a rack of ribs.
But like I said, you would. It sounds really bad to say this, but you're gonna understand that you would go for an easier target than Ronda Rousey.
But also, you wouldn't do it in the hallway of like wherever, and there were people around. You're like, oh, let me get a piece of that. Like
Exactly. Let me get a peep show. Like you said, boop. Like
he probably just went boop and just went walking, kept walking.
Exactly.
Like I know exactly in my head, I'm seeing this happen. I just know because
could you even imagine, like you said, sweatpants? But towards the end of her career, she was walking around in her gi.
Yeah.
So if the string of the gi is there and it's hanging out as you walk by,
hanging out or whatever.
I did that in karate class to people. I would pull on you'd pull on the belt of a gi, or you'd pull the string that you hang out the side to see if it would pop open. Guy, girl, who it wasn't to do anything sexual. It was you were joking around.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
So I guess I just have one more thing, and AEW related. Actually, they have signed Camille.
Yeah,
that is a damn good get. Right
it is.
there.
It hasn't been confirmed by AEW, but Fightful is reporting, and it's based on Camille has said in interviews that she's been signed since the winter sometime with a company. And
that is a talent. Right
that
there.
is a huge win.
Yeah, and I think with Sasha being in the mix, Mercedes, whatever, and then Camille being in the mix.
You got Deonna Purrazzo there.
Right. You've already got Deonna Purrazzo, Toni Storm, Mariah May, all the women that are there. And then think about Britt Baker's coming back. Jamie Hayter's coming back.
Which, by the way, Toni Storm is doing the best work of her. Toni
Storm's character is the best character on any wrestling television right now.
Come to
it's
my
amazing.
bosom.
She said,
"It's gold,
dude." In a press conference,
out and watch for the shoe. I love it.
She said at a press conference, Nikki Garcia shouldn't come to AEW because she can't hold a pussy-scented candle to my talent or something along those lines. It's just like, holy shit! She's unleashed. Toni Storm gets unleashed on these press conferences, and it's just the funniest shit ever.
Yeah, when she first sits down, you better make sure the fucking questions are good.
Oh, I'm not
answering any stupid questions, and I don't care. You can bleep me. I love it.
Or that one match with Sky Blue, and she goes, and now a titty slap.
Yep.
She even said something about
give me them titties.
She mentioned something about Anna Jay's ass, and she's going to send her Georgia Peach packing back to Atlanta or something like that. Like, like she's just—it's amazing.
This delusional starlet thing, I love it.
Yeah. Even last week, she did not have to even say anything when Serena Deeb came out and she was sitting there talking and everything. And Serena Deeb is going off, and just her facial interactions in the ring with the color to the black and white and her, it is brilliance.
I love that you brought up Serena, because I really would love her.
And she's back now too.
A championship or a run or a big angle or something.
Yep.
I think they've kind of been setting her up for something big.
And how they never did anything with her and CM Punk is beyond me.
I know, right?
Might have been. Was she injured at that time? I don't know.
Possibly.
I know she was possibly. Yeah. Because she just came back from.
That's
injury.
another one that really came into her own, especially in that last heel run she had.
Yeah, she started. Yeah, absolutely. That was a great. That was a great run, and then just like because I remember she came in as like the NWA Women's Champion during the COVID Dynamites, and that was like you had to just book whoever was available because of COVID, and they're like the NWA, they were okay with exchanging talent, and she came in with with their women's belt, and then shortly afterward, just like Ricky Starks, he didn't come in with a belt, but Ricky Starks made one appearance on Dynamite, and then all of a sudden wasn't on the NWA anymore. Serena Deeb made a few more appearances, and I think put over Camille for the title and gave it gave the belt to her, and then all of a sudden was on AEW, and really found her footing with the heel thing and the professor. Like she's leaning into being like the Dean Malenko of that division, but like a Dean Malenko who, like, I don't know, she's not that Dean Malenko was boring, but you're not going to YouTube and typing in memorable Dean Malenko promos and getting anything.
House of Man of 1,000 Holds.
Tara is on fire today. The Garcias already effed their way to the top of mediocrity. So what would be the point of coming to AEW?
Wait, who is she talking about?
She's talking about
She's talking about Nikki and Brie.
Oh.
Yeah, they're pretty much set for life.
Nobody wants to look and nobody wants to touch, so it's okay.
They got that Dancing with the Stars money and their WWE money. I think they're all set.
And their wine.
Oh, yeah. Because that's what I want. Bella Twins wine.
Interestingly enough, I wonder how they're marketing that now, because I don't think they can call it Bella Wine anymore.
Right. Garcia Vineyards.
Laurinaitis's.
Oh, God.
The best white wine you've ever seen. It's so good.
I really think they missed the boat on having a cameo from Uncle Animal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would have been wild. Because now we can't even get that.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to put his name on that anymore anyway.
Yeah, so I think we kind of ran the gamut here.
I got to wrap up anyway because I got to finish up work or whatever.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm going to go get an old snackaroo or something. Yeah, thank you guys for sticking around. We you guys hung out this whole time, man. I really appreciate the whole time.
The whole time, Daniel? Mrs. Doubtfire.
We had Ryan in the comments and Tara, our friend David Roscoe, of course, and then a whole bunch.
We gotta get David on the show, man.
I know one of these days we're gonna figure out. We already said last week that if a WrestleMania goes to California, we're gonna have to meet David. So I think that's in the cards. So we'll figure out a way to get David's input here, because the thing is, the name doesn't give enough away. It's not like it's Enrique Roscarides or something. You know what I mean? It's not, he's not, Rosca can go a lot of different ways, and David's pretty neutral in terms of, like, everybody names their kids David, ethnically. So, like, I don't have a picture of David, and how, like, sometimes you can see somebody's name and kind of form an opinion, like, what do you think they might look like? I have no clue. I just have no mental image of David in my head, except for the Expos.
Right.
The Expos logo from his YouTube thing. Yeah. That's it. I just equate the Expos, even though I know he likes the Angels. He's an Angels fan. But yeah, guys, this is going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for tuning in. I mean, we did 42 extra minutes, and you all sat with us the whole time. I really appreciate that. It's nice to know people do appreciate longer shows when you have the time to do it. Please tune in when you can, whatever platform you're on right now, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Come back 9 p.m. Eastern time next Tuesday for another show. We'll have to have discussions because Steve now has more job responsibilities, but we definitely do want to do the Mount Rushmore show on an off night that's not Tuesday night. So we're going to do wrestling Mount Rushmores and just kind of do like a monthly roundtable, whether it's tag teams or Attitude Era Mount Rushmore or 80s Golden Era, whatever you want to call it. We'll pick a theme every time, and we'll go through that. And it'll be on the same thing. We'll just stream right on the same platforms: Facebook, Steve's LinkedIn, our YouTube page, our Twitch, and our Twitter. Most of our social media is at Tag Me a Date. That's at Tag Me a Date with no spaces. It's all one word. That we're on Twitter. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Most social media platforms, look for @TagMeADate. It's the same for our YouTube. Type Tag Me a Date in the search bar. You will get our page where you can hit subscribe. We would really appreciate you hitting subscribe. Thank you for everybody getting us over 100 subscribers. A minor milestone, but still one worth noting and thanking people for. So thank you for getting us over 100 subscribers. Hit that button just so you can hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notified when we go live or when we upload a new video. As I said, we go live 9 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday evenings. And we also stream on Twitch, which is @TagMeADate, or we stream on Twitter, which is @TagMeADate. And our Twitch is the only different one. Our Twitch is twitch.tv/War Report. And that is also one word, WARREPORT. So you can also, add us as a favorite or a friend or whatever it is on Twitch, and you can go in there and you can send comments that way. Otherwise, you can send comments through the Facebook or the YouTube or wherever else you are tuning in live. Just tune right back in next week. We'll be here, man. If you prefer the audio podcast versus the video podcast, you can also just go to your favorite podcast app, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and type in Tag Me a Date or type in the War Report, and you should see our wrestling podcast pop up. There are 2 wrestling podcasts called the War Report, but for your convenience, the icon and the description both say Tag Me a Date on there. Our branding is all very consistent. You will know when you go there that you're subscribing to our page. Ryan takes the audio down within the hour of the show being off the air and sends it right to the podcast app, which means that it goes right into your mobile device or tablet or wherever you're subscribing, so you can take it with you on the road or when you're doing your laundry, going to the gym, whatever else it is that you're doing. You can take Tag Me a Date, the War Report podcast, with you. And that'll do it for us tonight. We'll be back next week. Thank you all so much. Again, thank you, Tara, David, and Ryan for the comments. We'll be back Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for another edition of the War Report. And I am the one that has to hit the button this time. So I remembered.
Okay.
I remembered I have to do it.
Wait,
What's up?
wait 1 second. This is for our old friend Sarah from Nebraska, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. See you next Tuesday.
You've said it all. Good night, everybody.